Have you missed me? I've really missed you guys. Oh my gosh. Welcome back to, oops. Let me turn off my notifications. Hi. I hope you've missed me as much as I've missed you. This is Coach MK Fleming. We're going to do a session, Coach Answers. So, I've been getting a lot of questions lately. I'm not sure what it is about this week, but I welcome it. I love talking about running. I'm a running coach based in Denver, Colorado, and there are a few things I like talking about more than running. And I get a whole lot of questions each week. Sometimes from people I train, but sometimes from people I don't know. And unfortunately, the downside is if you don't know me, you probably don't know how much I hate email. Email is a very tricky medium for me because I get these big, long emails that warrant thoughtful, long responses. Yet I have 4 children under 7. I was in the trials for work, and sitter's only part of the time, so writing long email responses, very unlikely to happen. Also, I've learned the hard way that a lot of things I say, if I don't say it out loud, you can't hear the voice in the back of your head reading that email to you. Can you help me? Yes, you can. Can you sit right here? Oh, because you see, sometimes talking I can finish a thought, but writing, almost never. Are you cold? We'll go get a blanket. Oh, we're not. You want to sit right here? This is my daughter. Can you say hello? Hello.
Hey, there's 2.
Yes. There's 2 of us. That is correct.
Hello. Can you say hello?
Hello.
This is my mom, Alex.
No, that Alex is my husband. I am your mom, though. That's correct. This is my daughter. You want to say your name?
Hello.
Hello. That was so silly.
Poopy.
Oh God. What is it? I'm not sure when this phase is going to end, but it's not soon enough for me. But everything is poop, and everything poop related is hilarious. So I wanted to go through a bunch of questions that I got throughout the course of the week, and I want to answer them as thoroughly as I want to give each of those questions the thorough attention that those questions deserve, and that is just not ever going to happen on email, because I tell you what, they get a little jealous when I'm talking to this. They lose their minds when I'm on my computer. So, no further ado, I've divided the questions into 2 sections, rants and science shit. So, all due respect, I'm going to start with the rant section and then go back into the Facebook page. Hello! Oh, it's Miss Melissa saying hello to you. Can you say hello, Miss Melissa? Silly girl. Hello. She begs for everyone's attention and then she gets shy. Oh my gosh. So, since we're here first off... Okay, can you be quiet for a minute, please, now? Thank you.
This message.
Yes, this is a message. Wait. Okay. So, first off, I want to say congratulations. Alright, my turn. First off, I want to say congratulations to Jackie Kearns, who just had her first 25-mile week on one of my training plans. And
Shiloh.
Girl, I'm really sorry.
You're fine. Shiloh.
Come on, dude, we're going to have the movie as soon as I finish.
Shiloh, come on, let's go downstairs. Yay!
I hate that. But like I said, we'll get through this a whole lot more quickly. Hello! Thank you, everyone, for being so kind. So, congratulations to Jackie Kearns' first 25-mile week. That is a really big deal. I know how excited I was when I hit my first 25-mile week after a year in bed recovering. Being fit enough to be able to pull that off is amazing. Being able to find the time enough in your schedule to do that is amazing. Everything's easy when you're fit. When you're unfit, everything is hard. And not that this necessarily is a benchmark for fitness, but 25 miles in a week sounds like a lot. In the past, if you've trained for a marathon, I've had a lot of people that have trained for full marathons that haven't hit 25 miles in a week. So good for you. That is a big BFD. BFD. So, moving on, the next thing I want to talk about is Miss Melissa. Miss Melissa is training for a really stupid event called 3 Days at the Fair because she needs new friends. But that is literally not my job to help you with that, Miss Melissa. But she brought up a point that touched on, that kind of intersected with different questions that I received this week about self-care, about relaxing, about downtime. And I kind of wanted to start with this note from Cheryl Strayed. So this is support your local indie bookseller, please, and go pick up a copy of this book. But the quote is from page 4, "We don't reach the mountaintop from the mountaintop. We start at the bottom and we climb up. Blood is involved." That's the quote. How cool is that? So what I like about that is the reminder that blood is involved. When blood comes, there's going to be times when you're working so hard, you need to stop and recover, and you need to stop and rest. And I don't believe in many things that other people do. Hello, Kim, thank you for joining us. And by that, I mean I don't believe in procrastination. I really don't. I don't think it's a thing. Anytime we're adults, we get our shit done. Most of us live in homes that we've managed to keep because we pay the rent or the mortgage on time. Most of us have a job that we manage to keep because even if we're a little late sometimes, we show up, we get stuff done, and they give us a paycheck. That's a contract that's ongoing. We adult like no one's business. We are responsible, we are sentient, we are sane. Problem is we live in a society that wants us to believe otherwise. It's how they control us. And without sounding all conspiracy theory-esque about it, there's a lot of pressure, and that pressure is how you are controlled. So in those moments when you're like, I could be doing this other thing, that's, congratulations, you're human, you're sane, and your brain works. There are forces coming at you from your kids, from your husband, from the work that needs to be done. There's always more housework to be done. From those friends you said you would help. From all the things going on in the world that you could be having a hand in. There is pressure at any given moment to be doing something other than what you're doing. And that pressure is going to come regardless of what's going on in your life, because that pressure doesn't care about you. It has its own interest in mind. So if you stop doing whatever it is you're doing, if there's a list, a big to-do list that really realistically doesn't ever get any smaller, and you're not attacking it right now, that is not tantamount to procrastinating. Maybe you just need to sit somewhere and knit. Or if you're not a knitter, you're not a knitter, you're a crocheter, and I get that those are very different now because I've gotten beaten up about them before on different streams. Like, I don't knit, I crochet. I'm like, whoa, okay. I literally don't know the difference. Sorry, y'all. But I tell you that to tell you this. Self-care is the thing. If you hit a wall and all you want to do is sit in the corner and crochet, do that. If you do that so much that your mortgage isn't paid and you're about to lose your home, we need to talk. But between now and then, the problem is probably not the knitting or the crocheting that you're doing as to why you're going to lose your house, right? There is a line and there is a wall. And if you hit that wall, it's not because you're weak. It's because your body wants you to take care of it now. It's like, hey, in that list of priorities, I'm not in there. I'm going to get in that queue. Take care of this. I would argue that it's not procrastinating. It is self-preservation, and that is the most adult thing you can do, is look at all the pressure around you and say, nope, and do something else, something that makes you happy. And if knitting makes you happy, that shit's hard. God bless you. Do more of that. So, especially considering all that I've had you guys doing, getting ready for 3 days at the fair, I just stepped the ante in a really big way as soon as Julie came back from Rocky Raccoon. And that was, even for the people that aren't doing 50 effing miles, you're still doing a whole lot of work. You're doing a whole lot of stuff. You're doing a whole lot of things that feel a little unfamiliar because you've probably not seen them in any of the free training plans you've downloaded from Google before, which, thank you for not making me explain every aspect of it, because like, I've never seen this before. Really, what you've been looking at? I've never gone to my doctor and been like, I've never seen this before when they give me a new medicine, or like yelled at the pharmacist for the same reason, because you know what? I know shit about medicine and pharmacology. So the fact that I've never seen it before is hardly a relevant data point. When you're coming at me and when you ask for a plan and you get it and there are elements in there you don't understand, I'll happily explain them. But if you come at me in a hostile way and you're like, I've not seen this before, I'll be like, what you been looking at? Not a relevant data point. So, congratulations on surviving on a plane. You've probably never seen anything like it before. And it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of time, and it's a lot of pressure on top of a lot of things you already having going on. So congratulations for executing that plan to the best of your ability and prioritizing yourself so that we can pick that plan up again, because the event is going to be amazing. You are by no means behind. No one gets to the mountaintop from the top. They get there from the bottom. Along the way, there's blood. And if blood's on you, man, step back and knit. It's not the wrong decision. You are by no means behind. This time is sanctioned by your coach, and I really hope you're knitting while we watch this. Or crocheting, whatever. Now I'm going to be nervous about that. I got the wrong thing. Second thing I wanted to talk about is in email. Let me find this. mantra, and hopefully if you're watching this, I have a podcast called The Morning Mantra of Coach MK. If you're facing a situation that's unavoidable, saying, and you're really scared, for example, saying like, I am fearless, that's my mantra, I am fearless. That doesn't help very much when you're scared out of your mind. So tell me about that situation, like that coming up, like I have this meeting at work that's going to be terrible. I have this meeting at my kid's school and I know it's not going to go well. We're going to see the doctor and I know the results are going to be bad. We have to put my dog down. I don't care what the situation is. Send an email to info@coachedandloved.com, COACHEDANDLOVED.com, and I will come up with the mantra to help you get through it. And I will respond to that email and let you know when that mantra is going to play. So this one, funny enough, interesting to me, is not actually a mantra, but Coach MK, I am really insecure. I know this is bad. I know I need to work on it. I just don't know where to start. I'm insecure in general, but I'm particularly insecure when it comes to my running and identifying as a runner. So you can see why this is going to be something that sounds kind of like a rant coming from me. You're going to hear me say this a lot. You are saying you're rational, you're reasonable, and you're a grown-up and you're adulting like no one's business. Congratulations and yay you. I'm honored and proud to be your coach. When it comes to insecurity, it is often presented to us as like, oh, you're really insecure, you need to work on that, that's a problem. You are a product of your environment. If you had, say, a parent that never validated you and nothing you ever did was good enough, you probably would get anxious when you come home, even with a perfect report card, because they would be looking for the flaw. Or that day there'd be something better and more interesting and they really wouldn't care about that until you came home with a B, and then they really, 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 really care. When the system is rigged against you and you can't win, you run around with a low-lying level of anxiety. And we like to label that type of anxiety in another person as insecurity, because that label means I'm not responsible for it because I can't fix it. And no one can fix that other than you. And that hurts, and that's hard to say. God knows I was traumatized when I was younger. I've talked openly about my rape and my subsequent sexual assault. I am not responsible for those things occurring. It is my responsibility to manage the fallout. And when it comes to insecurity, or what others would call insecurity, that is the result of a lifetime of mixed messages about who you are, what you do, and where those expectations are. And most of it is unfair, and all of it's bullshit. So, and we're talking about it now in a way that we never have in our society before, where we say, hey, men are held to one standard and women are held to another. And by the way, like, I need to be cute, but not so cute that actually men are thinking about, having sex with me instead of listening to the presentation I'm giving because we're at work. Or like what we have to watch, like even Michelle Obama wrote about it in her memoir about how she would have to think really carefully about what she wore at every event where she would show up because she's representing something big. And she was jealous of the fact that her husband, the president, never had to think about that. Sometimes he wore the same tie 2 days in a row, and that was something she could never get away with. There are different standards for different people. And if you aren't quite sure what those standards are for you in any given situation or any given moment, particularly if you came from a household where those rules changed frequently and without warning, that's what insecurity is. Insecurity means you come from having a sense of insecurity means you come from a place that wasn't secure. It's not your fault. We can do a lot to fix it, but that is where therapy becomes really, really, really important. So don't look at this as something that is wrong with you. It's the net result of a whole bunch of things that weren't your fault. You're not less than, you don't need to feel ashamed, and you don't need to feel those things that we're insecure about. Again, they're not flaws to be fixed. It's damage that needs a Band-Aid. So please go see a therapist and put on the Band-Aid, and know that I've been in therapy for 20 years and I never intend to stop. I don't ever want to be fixed, because this process of talking through those things that are really unfair, that intersection where I find myself between what I can do and what the expectations are, when the expectations are bullshit, that's exactly what therapy's for. And I cannot recommend it highly enough. But don't look at insecurity as a flaw, right? It just means that you're rational and you're a great person, and you've been trying to do what other people expect you to do, and the problem was not you, it was probably them. So, hello, I am good, thank you. I do not have arm biceps, I'm a runner. Sorry, otherwise I probably would. Yay, you're knitting while watching. Love it. Coach MK, where did I get my shirt? My shirt is from Boulder Run Company. It is made by New Balance. And I got that a couple weeks ago. So yay, they should still have it in the stores. Here we go. The next, so that was kind of, there was a fourth one and I can't find it because kids kept coming up and asking me questions. Who's going to happen? All right, so moving on to the more technical questions. We're going to start with Carolyn. Hi, Coach MK. On your very interesting Twitch today, you mentioned you might do and ask the coach tomorrow if you get enough questions. And I have one. It's about coming back from a broken ankle. I broke my fibula 9 weeks ago when I fell on ice during my run. Ouch! I'm cleared to start adding bits of jogging back into my walks. What general suggestions would you give me for easing back into running? I've been doing lots of strength throughout my recovery and now adding in cardio and PT. I'm not in a rush to start serious running right away, but I'm wondering about the framework for easing back. Generally speaking, less is more. We want to get into a habit of ankle-bearing activity as much as we can allow with as little impact as possible. And for you, that might mean walking. It might mean getting on an elliptical. It could mean a lot of different things, but definitely take it slow and take it easy. When it comes to running itself, that's a lot of impact force every time your foot hits the ground, and that's going to be testing your ankle. And if I'm failing that test, I mean, that's a high incentive test right there. I'm not a fan of testing your body before it's ready. 30 minutes is a pretty good place to start. This is the general pattern of what I would recommend for somebody that's coming back after a long time off. And this is going to be real ugly. I apologize for that in advance. But generally speaking, we take Thursdays off, Sundays off, so that's 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, day off, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. That's kind of where I would start. And I would try to keep it as continuous as possible. And maybe that's just walking. And if that's just walking, that is fine. It's not less than. It's only less than because you guys make it so, where you get obsessed with pace and you get worked around pace and you think I was an 8-minute miler and how am I going to get back there if I'm walking 20-minute miles? You're going to do it by building your cardiovascular endurance back up, by building up your muscles, so that they protect that bone. That's, you don't want any of those impact forces coming at a recently healed bone. I would start there and then work your way up when your PT is giving you clearance to intervals. And the general progression for intervals that I like to see is 1 minute of jogging by 3 or 4 minutes of walking. So it's going to be a little mind-bending. But first I would try to focus on extending this very slowly over a period of weeks to like 45, 30, 45, 30, 75. And I would aim to get here before adding in the run intervals. Being too eager to get back to the running intervals too soon, that's going to get you. Everybody wants to be better. Everyone wants to be like, yay, it's behind me. God knows I'm in that category too. I was in bed for a fucking year, you guys. But wanting it so badly that you're trying to force it a little too soon, that's going to land you right back in the injury zone. And all we need to do, the golden rule of training, is don't get injured and don't get more hurt. And the best way to do that is to take it slow, ease back in. Less impact is more and better. If we can do 30 minutes pain-free, moving continuously, keeping that heart rate really, really nice and low. Don't worry about the pace. That will come. Pace will never come if you get injured again. I cannot emphasize that enough. Get on the elliptical and keep it nice and slow, like under 120. Yeah, between 100 and 120, and you'll be surprised. After a long time off, you might not have to work that much to get your heart rate in that zone. Higher heart rates aren't going to be really beneficial for a while, because all we need to do is wake your muscles back up and get them used to working in concert. If we overstress your muscles too quickly, then the bigger, stronger, better off muscle groups are going to take over. You're going to, and they'll do the brunt of the work. You're going to develop muscular imbalances and you're going to get hurt again. Let's not do that. Anything more specific than that, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. But that is from a very high level where I would begin. And then something after that, anything more specific than that, I probably will have something for you in about 3 weeks. If you already follow me or are part of my email list, go ahead and get on it, get on the email list. You can do that by clicking on the subscribe in my Facebook page, or by anywhere on my website, www.coachedandloved.com. Feel free to get on there, get on the mailing list, and we will let you know when the first round of fitness protection will be open to participants. So there we go. Got to get my kids to bed. I'll catch the rest later. Thanks, Coach. Thank you. Thanks for coming, Kim. I appreciate it. I'm hoping not to go too long tonight, but you never ever know what's going to happen. So the next question is about two-a-days. I got a whole bunch of people that are doing two-a-days and a whole bunch of people that are very interested in doing two-a-days. So there, and then I have a whole group of people that have been assigned two-a-days that aren't able to get all of them and are getting a little worried about that. So when it comes to two-a-days, the general rule of thumb with endurance and aerobic conditioning is that we tap out our ability, or we tap out the benefits of a single workout for aerobic. No, I mean, there are all kinds of different workouts in a training plan, so don't come at me. But there's a reason why on any plan that we do, your longest run is usually on a Saturday, right? And then you've got the weekday runs, and then you've got the run sandwich. The weekday runs are all the ones that happen before this Thursday rest day. None of these are ever longer than 90 minutes. I don't care how fit you are. So in my fittest folks, when we have totally maxed out what we can get, and let me back up. In the past, I've talked about how the game changes when your fitness level rises to the point that you are running faster than an 8-minute mile with a heart rate under 140. Okay? When we get there, think about why that's complicated. If you are running an 8-minute mile, and I tell you to go out for an hour easy effort run, how many miles are you getting in? How many times does 8 go into 60? 8 times 7 is 56. About 7 miles. Okay? So, if you are running 8-minute mile, easy effort, and easy effort is defined by me as anything under 140, then that means in 60 minutes, you are running roughly 7.5 miles. Okay. That is how, and if we were to do that, if you're here and that efficient, then you're probably running on Thursdays too. Not all my plans, but some of them, people want. These people always want to run more. What they don't ever want to do is rest, and that gets dangerous. But I'll come back to that in a minute. So if you think about that, once we've gotten here, you're probably running 60, 45, 60, 30, 60, and then your longest run of the week. Let's just say this person isn't necessarily training for a marathon or an ultra. So that's going to be like let's call it 4. This person would always round it up to 4. And then 12. That's a lot of mileage right there. That's a lot of mileage. That's already what? 16. Oh God. That's about 40 miles a week. And this is where they tell you that this is the type of mileage, generally speaking, most coaches that have written those free training plans that you download on the internet, this is kind of where they encourage you to be before you train for a marathon. Reason being, used to be the cutoff for Boston was 4 hours. I mean, not to qualify it, to complete it. If you could not reasonably expect to complete Boston in 4 hours or less, then they wouldn't let you into the race at all. And that was like the early doors, like in the 60s and the 70s. It would change over time, obviously, but that's kind of origins of anything slower than an 8-minute mile not really being a run. But this is also way back when in the beginning of the endurance boom. So The only way I think of it is this. This person was like my dad. Like, this is what he had to do every day to meet the American Heart Association's guidelines for heart health, doing work, not hard work, but enough, like getting his heart rate up enough to strengthen his heart in a pattern that looked a lot like that. And this pattern is also the basis for most training plans you will ever see. So, this is where two-a-days get important. So this person on running like that, casual jogging, that just happens to be pretty strong and fast because they've been doing it for a while, is already getting pretty close to 40 miles in a week. Where we would max out, if they really got competitive about it, let's see, this will be about 3 hours. Let's assume this guy's training for a marathon. So there is no benefit. We would call this this is often referred to as the midweek long run. Notice there are actually two of them. Some plans like to have two, instead of having a run sandwich, they like to have an egregiously long run. Is one better than the other? Not really. I think it depends on the athlete. There's a time and place for either. But once you get here, this is usually where anything more than this, we have maxed out in these time blocks aerobic development for this person. So we've got nowhere to go but adding in a second run of the day. And usually this is where we start. Very easy, super light, crazy light recovery runs in the evenings on the longest days of the week, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. That's, again, high level, that's the when and the why. You'll see rules of thumb like, I don't like a sign in two-a-days until we've hit 80 miles a week. Well, I just showed you the math where that 80 miles comes from. But and you can go back later and do all the math there. No one's here to watch me do math. So you're here to like take screenshots of this stuff so you have a frame of reference whenever you're judging yourself. But this is most coaches, until we have maxed out aerobic development like this, don't like a sign in two-a-days. When you flip it around to ask a different question, I want to train for an ultra. What do I do? I want to train for a stacked race. What do I do? That's when these can serve a very different purpose. Now we're thinking like we need to sneak in more time on our feet for this critical adaptations for our joints. For something like a stacked race, it's the specificity where you're going to have long lulls in between workout 1 and workout 2, and you need to get really used to that. And the third is we can actually do more. What we can't do is extend these intervals. One, because this client would leave. They're like, it's always the people that, the sort of person that gravitates towards an ultra, that's more and more and more. They don't actually have a whole lot of flexibility in their schedule where they could do a 2.5-hour long run. On Monday and Wednesday, right? And from a physiological perspective, like there's no point to that. So we sneak it in by adding a second run of the day. How important is that second run of the day to, say, my people that are training for 3 days at the fair? I think it's important because you guys are going to be out there for a really long time. You are going to have to keep running when you don't want to. You are going to watch the sunset and be like, how am I not done? You're going to watch other people like finish and walk off the course because you're going to be able to see a whole lot from that 1 mile loop, and that's going to be demoralizing when you think about how much further you have to go. Think about all the races I say I don't like, the biggest one being Route 66. My issue with that race is that you can see the turnaround point from the start and the finish line from the turnaround point, and that is soul-sucking because on a course that flat, it never really feels like you're getting closer to that finish line. It's an optical illusion, and it's a crappy one. So no offense to Kansas, it is what it is, and for me that's really hard, and that's exactly what you guys are going to be facing for the totality of this event. So if you've been missing a lot of these evening runs, and I know that they're adding up really quickly, physiologically it's not the end of the world. Mentally, I mean, you did a 4-hour insanity run today. And what's insane about an insanity run, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, they did a 4-hour run on a 1-mile loop. It's going to test the boundaries of your sanity. So since we're already there, how much insaner do we need to get? I would say not a whole lot, but what we do need to do is get into the habit of, I really don't want to run. I've run so much today. I really don't want to run again. Go do it. And that's the way we prepare for the race. If you're consistently not doing it, I wish you would get into the habit. If you're missing them because of work, because of kids, because you're momming like a boss, whatever, go for it. We can only be excellent, truly excellent at one thing at a time. And the name of the game is to not suck in those other areas of our life that we need to care about and that will support us and carry us through after the race is over. No race is so important you need to lose your job over it, or your marriage, or like the respect and the attention of your children. So if this, on certain days, the second run is standing in between you and not sucking in some other part of your life, you can do without this. That's okay. Kind of similar to Melissa. Is she procrastinating, or is she making an empowered choice? I would say she's making an empowered choice. And if you're missing this in a given moment, I trust your judgment on that too. If you're not doing it just because you don't want to and you're a little uncomfortable, do the fucking run. But if there's something really going on and it's really kind of important, go do that thing. You only get one shot at this parenting gig. It's going to be okay. If this is over time, yeah, this starts to add up. Is it a habit of I don't want-us and not making room for it? Or are these runs getting so long and egregious that if any wrench is thrown into your day, this one goes out the window? Then that's normal too. Either way, know it's going to be okay. And just hear my voice saying, like, kick the fuck it bucket and don't do it tonight. You're okay. If there's another night you can, great, go do that. But how this race is going to go will not be determined by how many of these exogenous extra tertiary runs you missed. It's going to be contingent upon how much of the strength you got, how much of the plyo you did, and how much of the base running you completed each day, and all of you are killing it. Don't worry about it. If you get that second run, awesome. If you don't, it's hardly a deal breaker. And the person who asked me this question is not, I'm not worried about you. I'm just not worried about you. You're doing fine. Yeah, you've missed a lot. But it's not a habit. It's not a habit of laziness. It's not that your brain is turned off and that you're going to then turn around and be like, well, I didn't do well and the plan didn't work. You know, you're going to do great. You're going to do better. You're going to blow your own damn mind when you get to this event. You are fine. It's the person that's missing the base stuff and being like, it's okay because they haven't thought about it or planned ahead or made room for it in their life. They haven't done the basic training. That person's fucked. You are not that person. So, yay! Moving on, that's the how and the when of two-a-days. Now, some of you will see that I'm about to start two-a-days. Yay! And that's mainly because the weather's gotten better. Another good thing about two-a-days, and I'm going to stop here, is that they do get you fitter faster. So, regardless of ability level, regardless of fitness level, regardless of anything, you can always add a second 30 minutes, super duper easy, like nothing over 130 run at the end of your day. 4 days a week is fine. And I'm not saying you must, just saying when we keep it super light, we can always add a little bit more. And if you truly love running as much as I do, I look forward to that second run of the day. It's really invigorating right before bed. But if you think I'm nuts, that's cool. You don't ever need to get here. Here is not better. But if you're trying to say come back from a year in bed from the most difficult pregnancy ever, that's another time where these can come into play, where the weather's getting better, daylight savings, it's light longer. I'm finally fit enough that this second run of the day isn't going to be detrimental. It's not going to be impressive, and it's not there to get me faster. It's there just like to pull me up the curve a little bit faster. I really think she's giving it to me because she knows I miss them, and you know, I cried when she put him back in my training plan. I was like, I miss that evening run so much. Thank you. I can't believe I'm fit enough. So I mean, arguably, like, am I fit enough to do them? I don't really know, but she wanted that. It felt like a reward to me. So if it feels like punishment to you, that's okay. Don't do them. Like, listen to your body. Thank you. Thank you, Susan. I'm glad you like the 2-day philosophy. That's really where it comes from. It's like, it's never a must do, but it's really great if you can, you want to, and it's available to you. It does a lot of good for your body, but it's not like, I'm on the plan with 2-a-days, it's better. There needs to be a reason. And if that reason is, I just love running and I want to do more of it, cool. What you will never, ever, 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 ever see is an extra speed session built in. That's not how this works. It's we max out aerobic development in a single session around 90 minutes. And to turn around and do another 90-minute session, that's what elites do. That's what pros do. That's not what we need to do. We can get what we need. I can't even, it's probably been 25 years since I've been so fit that I had a second run of the day that was longer than 60 minutes. Because, again, what's recovery is so much more important than a second run, that if you're starting it and you're like, I don't really want to do this, my body's saying no, great, don't do it. Does that make sense? So it's finding that balance of listening to yourself and rather, because once you're tapped out, you know it. You're maxed out, you know it. Your brain and your body has sent you red flags. Ignoring those red flags never leads anywhere good. I'll come back to that one. But yes, I've gotten a lot of questions about monthly to marathon, and all I can say about that is it's coming. You're going to get it. And I haven't ignored you and I haven't forgotten you. It's coming, just not in the format that you're expecting. There's that. Go back to now, headed to the Facebook page. Mary, what is the point of a progression run? Hi, Mary. I was so excited to see you post. Thank you. If you can't fit in the miles because the time doesn't work out, how do you restructure it to maintain benefits? Honestly, all right, the point of a progression run, I'm not going to lie to you. You people have heard of them before, and people on the more advanced plans really want to see race pace miles without asking if they're ready for them. Is a progression run, I mean, I could give you the sciencey science answer and be like, it's like a tempo level and helps your body clear lactate faster and get you more efficient at race pace. But frankly, most people that are on these plans don't have a really good idea of what the race pace is or should be anyway. That's okay. So if you're not getting them in, it doesn't matter. You're not behind. We do that. The point of the progression run is to as I would, if I was coaching you one-on-one and I assigned you progression runs, the point of that run would be to have a conversation about your race pace, because generally speaking, that progression run is going to either cut down to your race pace or cut down past your race pace. And if you're scratching for it, if it's miserable and your heart rate is in the 160s and just won't come down after those progression miles, then that's a conversation to be had about your race pace. So a lot of what I've thrown into plans that are not one-on-one, that involve that element, it's to force a conversation between us. It's to second guess or just be like a gut check about your race pace. It's not actually there for some super duper special physiological development or improvement at race. So if what's embedded in this question is, I can't get all this in, am I behind? The answer is no. Not at all. And if you want to stop doing that run, cool. Don't worry about it. I think those were 90 minutes easier for 4 miles and cool down in 160 minutes. Yeah, no, that is what I would do if you really want to add it in there. Instead of 4 miles, and you really want to do some tempo work because you think it's going to make you faster and you think it's going to make you feel better because it's on the plan and you have to adhere to the plan, and that is going to that's your ego food. If that's what your ego requires to keep it going, and ego is important, everybody has one, it's a component, then let's just go at race pace for 20 minutes. 20 minutes and you're good. Anything more than 20 minutes at a tempo effort, minimal benefits to the marathon, and minimal benefits really to the half. People never believe that, but it's true. At the elite level, if you go back and see the stream that I did the other day, where I take Stephanie Bruce Rothstein's Name in Vain a lot, where I talk about the range. And if you missed that stream, it's on my YouTube channel now, and I think it was about, actually I don't remember what it was about. It's been a long week with the bomb cyclone, snowpocalypse around here, y'all. But I digress. I'll go back and find it, and I'll post a link in this thread if you guys want to watch it. But I just talk about that range that's available to a professional marathoner. Steph Bruce Rothstein's 5K pace is a 5:03, and her marathon pace is a 5:39. So when you think about like how hard 5K effort is versus your marathon efforts, and her easy pace is like a 6-minute mile, shoot, that's a whole lot of work for only a few seconds. And where those gains are going to come from is for her to get faster. It's not from efficiency. I'd say she's probably as aerobically efficient as she could possibly be, as cardiovascularly efficient as she could possibly be. Between now and Stephanie Bruce level fitness, we can get what we need from strength, from not being stupid, and from running a lot in a very safe way and by not stopping. So I would suggest maxing out all of those things before reaching for stuff like fancy speed work. And if you want to drop the progression runs altogether, cool. But 20 minutes is really all, you're going to max out the benefits of that tempo session as relative to the marathon in 20 minutes. So those are your options, Mary. You can drop it, or you can go for 20 minutes. And if you want to try to pick up the pace throughout, great. But if it doesn't make you feel good, don't do it. Because you know what? The physiological benefits you're getting from that run are like this. And the impact it's going to have on your race day by dropping it, it won't. Not at this level. And that's the great thing about not being elite. So many things don't matter. There's so much less to stress over. That should be freeing, not a punishment. It really should. Anna, I just successfully completed a marathon training plan and my first full marathon. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. That's amazing. And before I forget it, fucking love you, Mary. Don't you ever forget it. I signed up for a 10K beginning of April. I don't care about time or pace. It's just for fun. I've rested since my marathon, which was 2 weeks ago, except for one 3.14 mile run on Pi Day. I get it. I hope you ate pie too. Where should I go from here to get ready for the 10K? And how much should I worry about heart rate for that race? What should I keep my heart rate at? Okay, there's not a whole lot of specific training we can do in 2 weeks that's going to sharpen you up for a 10K. Here is what I would do if I was coaching you one-on-one. So that's what, this is the 22nd, it's 30th, and you say it's the end of the first, at the beginning of April. We're just going to pretend it's week 3. So week 1, week 2, week 3. Gotta get a second color to make this easy to see. Thursday is always our day off. Sunday is too. This would get you ready very quickly for a 10K. So here's what my chicken scratch means. So a 1x1, just gonna move this over here. So all of these workouts are 1x1s, okay? And what that means is take the time and divide it into thirds. So if it's 60 minutes, 60 divided by 3 is 20. That's going to be 3 20-minute sections in the workout. 20, 20, 20. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so for section 1, this is a warm-up and easy effort. Section 3 is a cool-down and easy effort, and 20 minutes in the middle is going to be 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy. And hard needs to be harder than 10K effort. Not drastically so, like you're not overachieving by hitting 5K pace. If you get there, you're overtraining, and we don't need to do that. So 1 minute hard by 1 minute easy. That 1 plus 1 is 2. 20 divided by 2 is 10, so that's 10 sets of 1 by 1. So 20-minute warm-up, 20 minutes, 10 sets of 1 by 1, 20-minute cool down. That Monday, Wednesday, of these two days, that would be 15, 15, 15 for race week, and then everything else I would keep it at easy effort. Do some accelerators these days. I would take 2 days off and show up with really fresh legs, and then just don't even look at your watch, just go. Go and go as hard as you can, and reasonably expect to hold on to for the duration of that 10K. That is what I would do and how I would prepare if I only had 2 weeks to get ready for a 10K. If you actually have 3, guess what? Do that first week twice. And you're okay. That will get you ready for a 10K if you're just coming out of a successful half marathon cycle, by the way. Congratulations. Thank you. Yes, that is it, Suze. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, Susan. I thought you guys ordered food. I love that I took priority over your food. Give Fred a hug for me. So Anna, good luck, and do let me know how it goes. Please share a photo, put it on my Facebook page, and for all of you guys, I know I don't engage enough on Facebook. There are too many people that in my feed never ends, and Instagram too. The best and easiest way to make sure that I see what you do is to use the hashtag Coached and Loved. Tag me on Facebook, tag Coach MK, tag Mary Catherine Brooks Fleming, my personal page. Either one, tag me on Facebook and I will see it. On Instagram, tag me, or use the hashtag Coached and Loved in the description of the photo that you post. I will see it and I will engage if you tag me or if you use Coach and Loved. Now, if you use hashtag Coach and Loved on Facebook, I'm less likely to see it because Facebook doesn't use, the algorithm doesn't work the same way. But those are 2 guaranteed ways to get my attention: tagging me on Facebook, either personal or my business page, or use the hashtag Coached and Loved on Instagram. I want to see what you're doing. I want to get excited with you. I want to celebrate with you. So when you run that 10K, Anna, please, 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 please post a picture, tag or use a hashtag, and let us celebrate with you. You're going to rock it. And again, congratulations on a super successful marathon. I mean, a successful marathon training cycle is nothing to sneeze at. That's awesome. Okay, Elizabeth, Coach, I have a heart rate question. I just ran a race and my heart rate was 174 for nearly the entire 13 miles. What? This is from someone who can never get her heart rate over 155, so I'm not sure what to make of it. Don't worry about it. Congratulations on pulling out that effort in a race situation and not trying to resist it on a Monday or a Wednesday. That's okay. I wouldn't read anything into it. Just because sometimes it's the excitement of being at the race, sometimes it's the weather, sometimes it's the pollen or the ground layer ozone that we're breathing in. There could be a million reasons why your heart rate is higher than usual at the start of an event. As long as you didn't have palpitations, as long as you didn't feel weak or you have a tightness in your chest, don't worry about it. All of those things are things to worry about. A high heart rate on a day that you've been training for, not so much. So we could spend a whole lot of time in trying to interpret it, but Occam's razor applies here. The simplest answer and the least eloquent answer is probably the right one. And here I would say that there's nothing to see. There's nothing to worry about. Why today? I don't know, but I'm glad it was on race day. Yay, you! Last question. Teresa Long asks, 45-year-old mom of 5 with no time to spare. For real, girl. For real. Do I really need to slow down my pace on long runs? I can barely squeeze them in. I run my comfortable pace, which is race pace. Okay, yeah, you need to slow down your long runs. The reason that we have to do that is for cardio development. I would also worry about what your heart rate is. Where effort level matters way more than pace. So if your heart rate is in the 170s while you're pulling that pace, then you're possibly overtraining, which is going to impede your ability to hold it on race day. That said, if you're training if you've got 3 marathons under your belt, and this has worked, don't fix it if it ain't broken. I train my people to take everything really, 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 really easy and really, really, really slow. And it's not unusual to have an easy effort pace of like a 10:30 and then show up and run an 8:30 on race day. I've done it multiple times. But at the same time, trying to sell somebody that my way is the best way is not the business that I'm in. I'm here and I do what I do and I'm here to help you. But I'm not here to sell you on something that you arguably don't need. And if what you've got right now is working fine, okay. If that is easy and comfortable and you like it and you're getting what you want out of your race, you do you. I cannot imagine that. It sounds like it's really hard to catch up. If you're doing more harm than good, that depends. Are you burnt out a lot? Are you tired a lot? Are you eating a lot? Are you ravenous all the time? And again, if you're not getting what you want on race day, those are the touch points I would need to talk about whether or not we're doing more harm than good. Finally, if your runs are routinely up above 170 during the week, there's a strong possibility that we're doing more harm than good in the long run. Like not on a long run, but in the long run of life, the marathon of life itself. So I would be careful with that. But if you're not in the habit of monitoring your heart rate and have no intention of starting, then the conversation's moot and you're happy, keep doing what you're doing. Okay, because I'm glad that works for you. I've never, and also congratulations on being a unicorn. That's not something I see very often. Usually one pace ponies like this, I have one pace and 8-minute miles. Okay, what's your 5K pace? 8-minute miles. What's your marathon pace? 8-minute miles. What's your marathon PR? 5:35. I'm like, that is not 8-minute miles. That's how that conversation goes. But if you are, that's what 8:30s. That's a 3:42 marathon. Then shoot, yeah, keep running your 3:42 marathons, and at 45 that qualifies you for Boston with a comfortable 20-minute window. Then I'd say, you're winning at life. Just keep doing what you're doing. If you're experiencing, if you're not running 3:42s, if you are routinely exhausted and hungry and shin splints and things are hurting, and you are ready to do something different, I've got plenty to say about things that we could potentially change up that would make your goals more attainable. But it sounds like, based on your lifestyle, based on just the limited amount of what you told me here, you don't really want to make changes, and everything's working, and changes are more likely to stress you out than get you where you want to go because you're getting there anyway. So, yay, I am all about the school of don't fix it if it ain't broken. But speaking of things that are breaking, I hear some yelling downstairs, some kids that need a little bit of this. So I'm going to go not suck at motherhood for a little while. Just wanted to say hi. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. Hope you feel coached and loved, and hope you've missed me as much as I've missed you, and I cannot wait to do this more regularly. Yay! Happy Sunday! Go win at life. And I'm going to try to stream, if not tomorrow, at some point this week, the stream I've been promising about the elements of speed. I'm going to find time to do that. I'll try to announce it ahead of time, but chances are pretty good with all going on in the house. It'll probably be like, I got a window, go! And then I'll, if you follow me here, if you follow me on Facebook, if you follow me anywhere, I'll try to communicate it before we get started with as much notice as I can, as much notice as I will have myself. There you go. Yay! Thank you, Phyllis. Love you guys. Bye.